There was some concern for Gunlug's state of rest, which prompted a suggestion from Primpata to attempt a deep dive which would involve all who were thralled, which means Zekin and Speaker were technically not invited. When the time came, Tekken and Speaker were given time to themselves while Bosk and Valerius were brought to the prepared space. The room is dimly lit, not with candles, but with mushrooms that glow. Gunlog rests comfortably on the bed, unmoving except for the occasional flutter of her eyelids and darting of her eyeballs underneath. Resting in different beds and situated in the other three cardinal directions, with their heads pointing towards each other, Primpata, Bosk, and Valerius sleep deeply. A guard protector observes the sleeping folk without question, ready to assist if anyone showed signs of duress. But before we go back into the dreamscape, I would like to go to Tekken. Chicken. You sat with the fireflies discussing the situation at hand, and they are in agreement to what needs to be done. You're all escorted to a completely different area of the village. It seems less of a village now and more like a series of colonies in an odd petri dish. The guards and Greenlock who escort you don't speak a word as they march you to a place. Before you feel your master's token warm up in a pouch, you keep it in. This is on the way, by the way.
Hmm. All right. I'll keep it on hand then.
You feel the stone warm up even more as you get closer and closer, you think, to the location. Every time you hang on to it, it seems to cool down. But when you let it go, it warms up again as if calling attention to you. Uh,
Hmm.
because of your gait and you being sort of distracted by the trinkets,
Hmm.
you're slowly losing about 5 feet every so often, and they are about 20 feet away from you now.
That this doesn't feel like it's the feeling of the same warmth or like the heating up like when we are close to a tower.
No,
No,
that was
right?
consistent. This one feels as though it is calling your attention.
Hmm. Uh, I am going to focus my attention on walking now. Yes, I'll focus my attention on walking now, but I acknowledge the master requires my attention. Yes.
Okay, you keep walking. The stone is kind of hot in your pocket as you
Hmm.
ignore it and you keep walking. It's a long walk.
Hmm. I I don't know if I can do this. I'm just gonna hold it out and then I'm put it aside of me, and I'm just gonna ask um a little bit on the move right now. What do you need?
You take out one stone, and along with that stone is pulled the other four, bringing up the pentagon again.
Mm-hmm.
And his face pops up. He's like, uh, where are you guys going?
Uh, Not quite sure because this is not my place or not the place that we have uh, mapped out. But there is some concern regarding the safety of this location, and we are trying. They are taking us somewhere to let us see something.
I think I heard what it was that they wanted to do. I suggest you not go through it. You don't have to be there for them all the time.
They are my responsibility. I feel like there is a need. Mm, there is a must, not a need.
Okay, just letting you know that I'm gonna be unavailable for the next fortnight.
Mm, is there a reason?
I'm tired. I am a ghost in some kind of rocks.
Well, you are technically sleeping every time, so I'm not sure how that works.
Shrug.
Uh,
You see that Greenlock turns back at you to look at what's going on,
mhm.
and then turns back to the front and continues walking.
um, right. Before you become unavailable again, I have a question to ask you. This is a more general question since you asked before that um that one day that I can like let you go, release you, right? Where would you go?
You ask me as if I know.
Well, I ask because you know that this place is still not safe entirely for the spirits.
Another
Not yet.
shrug. That's a lot of conjecture. Look, nobody knows what's going on. I'm just trying to enjoy myself since I seem to have
Mm,
some corporeal sense.
mm.
And then as he says that, you do see him slightly fading, a flicker
Oh,
even.
mm, right. I am thinking of honoring that. If I know there's a safe place that I can let you be without letting your soul get destroyed, like whatever the matriarch is doing. So that's much I can confirm with you. So I guess that's it. I don't really have much thing to ask you. Besides, oh, one more very important thing. AD, do you know anyone in Folsen that can help them regarding spell casting? Powerful spellcaster that still
He
owes
puts
you owes you a favor or anything that we can use.
he puts a hand on his chin and he goes, "You ask me questions as if you don't need to pay for things. Come on, what you got? What you got?"
Uh, what can I give you that you are still able to use? Is the question. I'm not sure how transferable work to you allows. I'm not sure what am I able to give you that is feasible as a spirit like you.
Make me a inside check.
Insight, okay. Insight. I didn't purge. Let's see what the base roll is. Base roll is 24 still.
24?
24.
What? 24. You remember that Master was a little bit unscrupulous in his vices. So he was not an objects person, he was a sensations, happenings,
Hmm.
things like that.
Would do I know that if I give him the happenings, the detail, and the feeling I have for during the ceremony that he will accept that, it will be creepy,
Not
maybe
even.
disturbing. Yeah.
He doesn't
So
care about that. What I'm trying to say is he went to brothels a lot. And he went to the bar a lot. He gambled a lot.
yeah, but those are like not the negative feeling that I was going to offer.
Why are you offering negative feelings? He
Uh,
catches this and he's like, "What the fuck? Do you not know how to
uh,
write? I thought I taught you better."
uh, not bribe us. So okay, you know what? I don't even know I can find a human proper in here. If I find a
I do
place,
believe there are non-kobolds in here.
yeah, there's non combos, but I'm trying to like word it as it like find I don't think this place like does or like openly does this those sort of things in here. I'm not sure. I'm not haven't like my character haven't traveled here, so he's not sure. So he's going to say, okay, you know what? If I find a place, if I find pleasure place, I will let you hang around.
Well, you got about 15 minutes. I feel like my spirit's slipping away. And dramatically,
Right,
he does flicker a little bit.
seriously, right now, like I can't.
He shrugs. Take it or leave it. Man, I don't remember raising such a wuss.
I'm sorry that I only learned to kill and not eat cat.
He goes, "What? No, I taught you some art of negotiation and fact finding. Oh my god, my training sucks."
Uh, yeah, my human, no, my conversation skill is non-existent. If you notice that I have a person that literally talks for me.
He's like he fades a little bit more dramatically.
You said Fortnite, right? I can, I can't give you what you want right now, but Fortnite, once you come back, I will see what I can do for you. I seriously can't do it and do anything for you while we are walking in an endless tunnel.
Okay, I just need to remind you that a fortnight is 2 weeks.
Yes, the that is enough time to find a place for yeah, find something for him.
If we are still in this place after a fortnight, kill
I
me,
don't
please.
I don't think we'll be in this place, but hopefully in a different town. Mm, but yes.
Suit yourself, and then he disappears, and the rocks fall on the ground.
Uh, well, no information then. Yeah, it's he doesn't know how to deal with. He doesn't bargain that much before, so that's yeah, that's a problem on it on his end. So he'll continue walking and pick up the stones before he walks. Continue walking.
Okay. I'm going to cut to Ghost. Well, it's not Ghost anymore. Speaker. You watch as Gunlog's body is being taken away. Well, no, you carry her onto the bed, and then whatever it is they're doing begins, and you are ushered out the door. You decide it would be a good time to maybe go back into the walls.
Yes.
But for a while, you try and bonk into the walls, but it doesn't receive you. There is no softness, there is no invitation. and you meander and wander deep in through the catacombs. But slowly, surely, as you find yourself going deeper and deeper into the tunnels by yourself, are you being stealthy or bumbling or just like do 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 do?
Well, Speaker doesn't feel a threat here, so he's not going to stealth. And he is trying to he was trying to get into the wall and all that, so he will make his presence known to whatever presence might be there.
Okay. This is good. You recognize that coming in announced is better than trying to sneak your way into some place that might already know that you exist. Can I ask what emotions you're projecting and whether or not you're putting a certain amount of purpose into finding your way back in? And what it is.
Okay. So speaker will put forward the purpose of wanting to acquaint and meet them again as a friend now that he has done this service for this community, and he feels he has repaid them in some way for how they've helped him. He would like to meet them again now that they have more luxury of time. And to have like another round of the session and perhaps see if they can help him in turn with a parasite. The one that like was almost removed but wasn't.
You make your way across what feels like a meadow. If a meadow was underground, mushrooms reach up from the floor, maybe to about a foot high, reminiscent of grass. But you know it's not grass because every time you touch the tops, the caps of each mushroom, very tall, skinny, eringi like mushrooms, it sticks to you. And as you brush past, even though you're covered in fur, you hear very gentle, very light, very small popping sounds like bubbles. It's kind of magical because as you walk through the space, again, it's very dim, almost dark, except for a few spots of exploding spores that illuminate that lasts maybe a second before it dies down, but it happens often enough to give you a glimpse of the area around. And eventually, you
He will
reach.
when at the popping noises he will like make little giggling noises as well.
As you giggle, you feel the voices in your head. Those agreeable to you also enjoy in this sort of respite from everything that's happened so far, and then you reach a door. We go back to when you were but a child, before you were pushed away from your mother. Can you tell me at what age it was when they discovered your affinity to murder?
Okay, that's an interesting one. So let me quickly see how quickly bugbears mature. Give me a second. Info. Okay, they reach adulthood at 6. Oh, 16 is pretty old. I would say they discovered it. Let's see. Okay, he would have been walking by that point, at like maybe like a past a toddler stage, so being a kid. And you know how kids are better at, well, kids are actually smarter than adults at sensing things.
Mm-hmm.
So like the other kids would have felt something not kosher, and tried to avoid him, and that would in turn started getting the attention of the other parents. And I think the first time he was fed like actual meat, he tried to take more than his share. And I think that was when people started noticing, like, hey, a kid shouldn't be able to eat that much.
Okay. Um, your village, you remember this vividly, and it's been a while since you could actually think about where you came from, not who you were made to be. The village raised their children collectively. It wasn't just one mother per her brood, it was all mothers for our brood. There were situations where you as a child wanted companionship from from the other children. You reached your hand out, but at that point you had taken too much and they had shunned you. But one of the mothers would pick you up, put you on a higher table to give her her share. Sometimes it's not a mother who does that, it's a father. They take turns. It's very egalitarian society. But even they grew to be wary of your consumption. In front of you now, against a wall, sits the same sort of door. It has bones styled as beads, hanging as though curtains. And you can smell the same smell that was inviting to you, and you only as the children shunned you, as though pulling you into the space. And you know instinctively to walk in. I'm assuming you do so without hesitation?
Yes.
Comically enough,
I've hesitated all my lifetime to see what holds. And he opens the
as
door.
as if comically punctuating your inner thoughts. The last of the popping sounds brush by you, as it's not really a door, more like you stick your hand through and brush aside beaded curtains. But surrounding you is not a hut. Surrounding you is not tables, scraps of meat, dinginess. It's nice, it's warm, there's a fire. You remember this warmth, this comfort only afforded to your young master. But you don't see your young master anymore. You do see familiar faces originally in your head. The calm, collected ones, the one who don't try to control you, sitting on chaise lounges. One is holding a cup of tea, stirring intently, looking at you. The fire crackles. There is comfort. Who do you see?
Okay, the one that's in comfort. Let me take a quick check. Okay, I would say it's the kindly mom who seems to be, like, for the first time that he's known her, seems to be finally having a chance to relax.
Who else is there? Give me two other people.
Okay, the other one there, okay, of the other two others there, the hermit would be present as well, simply untroubled in general. But this environment, I think, with all the reflection, meditation especially brings that out. As for the third, that would be the what we call the critter enthusiast. Perhaps not so much relaxing here, but for the first time, there's a place for him to ask stupid questions without being like shut down and berated by everyone else. Does that make sense?
Yes. So as you watch, you see Mammy. She is on the chaise lounge, and she's looking at some images. You think you're only assuming right now. You don't know what she has in her hands, but she's looking fondly towards them, beset by the light of the cozy, warm fire. Occasionally, she will pick up one of the images and she'll lift it above her head to get a better view. Her glasses hanging on her nose as she looks up. Smiles again. The hermit that occupies your mind just watches from the sidelines. You wouldn't have realized he was there, except for the fact that he is incredibly out of place, stoic, and statuesque. I don't mean that he's built like a brick house, I mean that he hasn't moved. But you see the eyes looking carefully, gauging everything, deep in understanding, as the critter enthusiast starts moving around you. Crikey, I've never been out this much and I've seen. You're huge! Also, there's a lot of things that we can see in your mind, but not out here. Also, what is this? They have cookies. Bickies, you want a bicky? And then he picks up, like, biscuits and starts munching. And then you hear Mammy. Now, young man, why don't you sit down, both of you? Come look at pictures of my children. My daughter, my son. I don't know what happened to them anymore, but it's nice to be out of your head. No offense. And out here, this is fascinating. Maybe you could build something like this in your mind palace. The hermit remains quiet.
I don't think I've seen you all like this before. I want to thank all of you, actually.
Critter guy is taken
I
aback.
don't think I've done that before.
No. Yeah, there's not a lot of thanks being thrown around in your head. Mostly, Mammy's being nice and everybody else vaguely threatening because I asked a lot of questions. But go on.
Well, I think I forgot how to ask questions a while back. Just taking orders, and look where that got us.
I could give you some pointers for questions. I can't guarantee that you won't get hit in the head.
What's the biggest question on your mind now?
What happened to the wife and the crazy one? They sort of disappeared from you, but I still feel them there. Do we not really exist? What is life?
Good questions. I think they are still there, but they are no longer welcome as they were. We're choosing our company.
Are you gonna do that with the asshole, you know, the one that's just screaming all the time, talking about order and bullshit. Yeah, he's a little bit intense most of the time, trying to commandeer your mind to do nonsense worse than the wee lass that you excommunicated. At least she was just screaming nonsense most of the time.
Well, both of them are going to have to be dealt with. As for whether we really exist, you all definitely do, and I don't think I can say sorry enough for that, even if it wasn't in my time or my lifetime. But I'll I'll make it up. I'll put you all to rest one way or another.
You see Mammy stand up. She puts the pictures in her front pocket of her apron and she goes to you. She's kind of short, so she pulls a little stool, an ottoman, and she stares on top of it to be eye to eye to you, and she puts her hands on your cheeks, wherever they would be, while she feels around for them. You get a little bit of scritches at the same time. And she goes, your circumstances, although they were you at the time, they were also not. You weren't given the self-determination that you needed or wanted or could have because of your little affliction. Any of us could have been the recipient, probably. But you're making amends now, and that's good enough. You look like you've got a bit of spring on your step. Some changes to an effect. Perhaps feeling more things. Yeah, I've been watching you in my our mind's eye. You've been, you know, licking walls, eating objects that are not edible, digesting. Digesting? That's a new one for hundreds of years you didn't never needed to do. I think, probably. Is my arm still there? Wait, you didn't eat me, another person did.
Let's not go right there. I'm trying to move away from that.
No. Gotcha.
And
The lady steps off from the stool. She pulls it back to where it was and then continues sitting down. Come, sit.
I want to thank you too, really, before I forget. He looks at the hermit, says, I never really understood why you said or didn't say things, and it makes sense now.
He just looks at you with deep understanding. He also acknowledges you. A slight nod, tilt of the chin. Still not going from his current space. He seems to be inhabiting the space really well, not really wanting to move forward, backward. Yeah, he's good. He puts a hand out to get you to continue talking.
When, like I said, when I wasn't asking questions, I was just taking orders, and I got so used to everyone else's voice filling my head for me. Not my own voice, just everyone's. And I don't think I got any proper silence. I tried to borrow in height, but that wasn't quiet.
If you'd like, we can all just be silent. Enjoy each other's company.
I think this is a good kind of talk now. We're not trying to shout over each other to be heard.
Mammy shakes her head. She's already pouring some tea. Very Calming gurgling noises pour out of the spout. She puts it on the table. No pressure. You don't have to drink or eat anything. For all we know, this place doesn't really exist. But you do. She sits down, pulls out a picture. Now we do have to talk about what exactly you want to do. There's tasks and things, quests, adventure that you're being told to accomplish. For example, when I was growing up, it was always like, oh, Mammy, you need to grow up. You need to be able to make children. And then I thought, and then what? Is that all life is relegated to? Being a housewife, making children? What about what I want to do? Well, not go to what happened actually in the end.
Sorry.
But that's my question to you. My life is over. But yours seemingly still exists in perpetuity.
As much as I hate to say it, well, when I was my other self, and parts of me still are, I thought I could just live my own life, well, for what it was worth, and ignore everyone else's. And it turns out that letting the bad people walk all over you and walk all around you and walk all over the earth doesn't turn out well for everyone, does it?
She nods.
There's a mother that's the furthest thing from being a mother right now, and she's literally smothering everything.
She nods again. I can't really condone what she's doing, but I'm not inside her head. I'm inside yours. And then the big Steve Irwin goes, you know, you talk a lot about bad people walking around, but what about the good people? What are they doing? What is a good person? Are we good?
I think I would say yes, because you're thinking about people other than yourselves.
You see a
I
smile on the hermit
didn't.
as he nods as you speak, acknowledging your words. That's true and all. So I guess in a way, we're all good. I mean, philosophically, it's really hard to determine what's good, bad, or I mean, you can determine whether these cookies are good or bad, and they're frankly not that great. But let's not complicate the inside of your head with good or bad.
Well, it's a bit of a step further from good for me or bad for me. It's okay, okay. Let me think. There, I'd like to put you all to rest as we go along, or You know what? Even the shitty ones need to be put out some way.
She nods. Now the question is, which order? Because if you exorcise all of us, you'll be left with the more unsavory ones. Don't get me wrong, it would be quite difficult to get rid of all of us. But we don't want to leave you fearful.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I'll miss you even so. I think I want to deal with the crazy one first. The other one may be loud and commanding, but I'm going to have a use for that.
Now, the crazy one. She is not going to go as long as there's interesting things to poke and prod. Yeah, she seems to like all this adventuring and moving around and poking things and killing things. Seems like a wheelhouse. But you seem to have squashed her for now. She's rattling those chains, definitely. Aye. She'll get out eventually. We're
Right.
not in a position to tell you what to do. Neither do we know what to do.
I have an idea. So she likes when things are being poked and killed, and I think this is where I learn to master silence for those interludes in between.
Make me an insight check.
Okay, let me try that. That's going to be an 18.
Okay. You can vaguely hear the metaphorical chains being pulled, pushed, prodded, shaken, as whatever that creature is screaming. She doesn't like your plan. So you think it would probably work.
He nods and he will sit down opposite from the hermit, well, facing him, and say, perhaps we all can have a lesson today from you.
The hermit nods. Just as Mammy would have had to push an Ottoman towards you, the hermit has it just appear in front of him as he sits. Another one appears in front of you, and he puts a hand towards it, ushering you to also sit down.
So speaker will sit down here.
And we will cut to
Hmm.
Dreamscape.
This is literally going to be like hours of nothing.
Literally. Bosk, you watch as your friend Valerius is not booting up. Something is going on with him right now, and he seems to be dealing with it by himself. Sort of like a machine that's struggling. The door in front of you, the more you look at it, the more you realize it is reminiscent of one of the doors in the facility. It's boring, stainless steel, small window through, but that seems to have been fogged up. And a door handle, not a knob, but something that you can push down and push away from you. You look for hinges, there doesn't seem to be one readily available outside. So you think definitely push, not pull.
I stare at the door for a while and then I think to myself, should probably get into the right mindset. And then she closes her eyes and thinks to herself, another day of work. I'd rather not be here. Then she pushes down at the door and opens it.
You push down the door handle. With a click, it opens. You pass through. You look to the left and the right, and you realize the walls are gone. You take a step back and you realize this door is now sitting in empty space. And then you look in front of you, you see another door. This time, it's the one that trapped you in chains. It's a solid block of stone with runes. No doorknob,
Why?
no door handles, but you know intrinsically how to open it.
Which door is this? I don't remember it.
It is the one that, thematically, it's the one that blocked Valerius in his cage, in like that stone room with the chains and everything.
Like when they were rescuing him.
Yes.
Have I seen this door before? Like, do I remember?
You have. You've seen it multiple times. In fact, you
Okay.
voluntarily went into these doors, and you didn't have this memory before, but you do now. You remember putting the chains on yourself and just falling asleep.
Okay, so that's the thing that I like remember doing, just going into the door and then there'll be chains on the other side. And
Yep.
then I will, and there's nothing else. The rest is like blank.
Yeah, it's just think of like, you know, the white space in the Matrix? But instead of like guns flying towards you, it is just doors. Like there's a door in front of you, you open that one, now it's another door. And
Okay.
around the door, no walls, nothing.
So what thought do I have when I see this wall, the chains?
Make me an insight check.
Insight check. Insight.
7.
I clicked on it. Oh, okay, 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't really think about how you feel. You're just thinking logically about why this space has appeared in front of you. You have counseled a good many people in your time. In fact, you've been alive for a long time, and you've been sometimes a very unhelpful counsel to very many people. You remember giving them this psychological test where you ask them to walk through a field and tell you what door they reach, what tables they see, what flowers they pick. All different answers. Some you were forthcoming with, some you just wanted to toy with them. So you are looking at possibly one of the permutations that you may have come up with. You turn around to look at Valerius, and he's still in suspended animation.
Okay.
Well, he appear. You hear, okay. Okay, he's got some voice.
Is it, what's happening?
Welcome. I think it's dream sequence for boss.
Dream sequence,
Okay.
yes.
Valerius is staring at the sky. Then he's like, oh.
Okay, you're booting up. You're booting up. Bosk, your friend seems to be coming awake, but you still have a door in front of you. The question is whether you want to push towards the door and do the thing that you usually do, or quote unquote break those chains.
I'm inclined to examine the door with the chains. Like aside from the chains, what other technology is there?
You put your hand against the door and it opens up. It's a sliding door, so it slides to the left. In front of you is, you don't see the place where you're supposed to stand and chain yourself. You just see chains on the floor, snaking around. They seem to be moving. And as they move, you hear the sound of metal brush against other metal, almost serpent-like.
Aside from the chains, there's nothing else.
There's nothing else. Again, white room. You recognize now that the door slid into nothing. There is now just like a panel of brick, like a door frame, but nothing else surrounding it, and the chains seem to be slithering around on the floor.
Try to remember what happened.
Okay. As you sit down to try and remember,
I'll approach the chain.
Valerius falls flat on his face as he finally gains consciousness, I suppose.
you approach the chains only to hear a crash behind you. Valerius, your nose hurts because you fell on a floor? You look around and you're not really standing on anything. It seems solid, but you look down, it's just white. You look up, it's white. Left, right, white.
Valerius is
Plain,
like, okay.
dull.
I
To the
observe
right of
it
you.
From my place.
Is there anyone nearby?
No, there's nobody except for Bosk and the two doors that she passed through, and snakes for chains.
What am I wearing right now?
Your usual outfit.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure. Okay, Valerius draws his pistol and makes his way after Bosk.
Can I have yoinked one of the chains, like the snake, and like holding it, and then I like turn my head and look at it while holding the chain?
Yeah. You
Yeah,
could have
I will do
definitely
that.
have done that. As you picked up the chains, it goes limp in your hand. That's when the falling thing happens. And then you watch
Okay.
as Valerius comes towards you. Just guns out, like ready to shoot. And you have like a surprisingly warm chain in your hand. It feels. Have you ever held like a snake or a lizard and it's like if you touch the skin, it moves on top? Like it's barely like it's
Oh,
very
like-
slidey.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like that. Like chains are usually cold. But this seems warm. Once alive. Slowly cooling down though.
Valerius just walks up. The boss
That
is like,
Valerius?
so what are we up to?
Well, I was digging to see if more memories could be found. Like, I don't remember any of I didn't remember any of this, but I do now. Do you remember?
Valerius tries to think about what the boss had inquired about, and he's like, can I attempt to like punch myself in the face and attempt to fail a saving throw?
You're referring to the wisdom saving throw, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Give me a second. I'm actually still not in row 20 yet. I just
I
booted
see.
on my computer.
Okay. Busk, you watch Valerius punch himself in the face. Valerius, before you do anything, after being punched in the face, you also remember very obediently touching the door panel, it opening, you putting your stuff down very neatly in a pile, putting your clothes on a mannequin, putting on the long johns, the simple cotton outfit, and chaining yourself against the wall before falling into a deep sleep. As you think about the reverie, you also feel a black eye. You didn't have to punch yourself that strongly.
Give me a
But-
second. The vet is calling me.
Okay, He sits in that reverie. He doesn't freeze again, but he's rubbing his face. Like, why did I do that?
I seen him punch himself, and he's now like,
Lagging.
what did I do?
The snakes, well, the chains on the ground, as you turn around to pay attention to them,
I'm
slowly,
still holding like one end of them.
correct, slowly dissolve into nothingness, and the end that you're holding on to pulls you.
Oh.
You can choose to follow, or you can choose to let go.
I will follow.
You are dragged into the ground. You feel your feet sinking as the chains also sink with you. And you watch as Valerius gets further and further away, but he's still within grabbing distance.
I think to myself that his memories are probably going to be different from mine, so he has to find his own.
Harsh,
And
okay.
I will not pull him down.
Your hands go
I
deep.
consider it. I'm like, no, I don't think this is a team event.
You don't think... Okay. You sink into the ground being pulled by the chains, and before, when you didn't have any feelings of a solid object on you except for the chains, now you feel as though you're being covered by something thick and liquid like, very unlike blood, but you don't smell the metallic smell that is blood.
Did you say very unlike blood or not?
Very unlike. So it's not blood, it's just the same
Okay.
texture.
Okay.
But there seems, you can't see any color yet. Everything is still just white. You just feel like you're slowly not drowning, but being submerged. You can still breathe, and you breathe carefully, almost like a scientific process of understanding and testing. Slowly, you open your mouth. There's not really a taste. No, there is a taste. It's not metallic. It's bitter.
Do I remember this taste?
Not at the moment.
Okay. I will close my eyes and like feel the sensation of moving in this liquid.
You close your eyes, and immediately, usually when you close your eyes, you can still see some semblance of light beyond your eyelids. But as soon as you close your eyes, it's just darkness. Darkness and silence. You no longer hear your friend. You no longer hear yourself. You don't hear the chains. You still feel the chain that you're holding on to. It feels
still
more
pulling me?
cold. It is definitely still pulling you. You know that because you feel whatever you're submerged in, it feels smooth against your skin. But it's dark. Even if you try to open your eyes, it remains dark. And when you open your eyes, it stings. Not enough to make you hurt, but not enough to make you wince, like opening your eyes in salt water. But it's not salt water, it's bitter. Are you breathing?
I'm back. I'm so sorry.
I can, yeah.
Okay, you breathe in normally. Because consciously you are experiencing being submerged in some kind of liquid, whatever you're breathing in feels heavy. We're gonna cut
Is it
to
similar to like water breathing?
Water is very light compared to this. Like the density of this liquid that you're in is
So it's
heavier.
like thicker water.
Yeah, it's not oil, but it's not water, and it's not blood. Valerius,
Yes.
you punched yourself in the face. You now
Hmm.
have like a shiner under your eye. You know where your cheekbones are? Yeah, you
Yep,
punched that
okay.
pretty good.
With my
Um,
-2 strength, but yes.
As
I've
you
since
rub that
fallen
area,
to the floor.
you watch as Bosk sinks very slowly. And then she looks at you. She shakes her head and she disappears under. You're not sure under what because you're pretty sure you can see through the floor because there's no floor. Now you're past 2 doors. The chains are gone and you're alone.
Okay. I walk forward towards one of the chains, I suppose. Valerius is completely out of his depth right now.
Again, the chains are gone. There's no more chains. They
Oh,
seem
right,
to
my
have
bad.
sunk with Busk. The 2
Is
doors
there
that she went through is still there.
what about where the chains came from? Is there any holes in the ceiling or the wall?
Nope, nothing.
Ah, shit. Okay. I guess I turn around and hit my way back to the door that we didn't come through from.
You
It was one door and then a
rem-
second door,
yeah.
and we went
Oh.
through both doors.
Okay, I'm
So
so
like
sorry
Also,
about
behind
that.
one
Yep.
door is another door.
Okay,
you
okay. My
woke
bad.
up without any knowledge of how you got here, except you open your eyes and then you're in an empty space with
We are
a
all
door.
here now. Okay, fair enough. I'll go
Um,
back to the previous room first and just have a look around to see if there's anything in there.
okay, it's not a room. So imagine the 2 doors standing in nothing.
Okay, I'm gonna go to that space, that liminal space, and attempt to just will a pathway to where Bosk is.
Tell me what the
To
pathway looks like.
well, he's gonna try to make it to make it believable to himself. He's gonna envision something that is familiar to him, Riker's tech. So a bunker door opens up, like on in the floor. It slides open and it reveals either a staircase or a ladder going down.
Okay, so you imagine some kind of bunker bay doors. It is a 4-leaf door that opens in an X sort of like little teeth moving up, only there's 4 of them on each side of the wall
Mm.
floor. And as it opens up with like a hermetically sealed opening sound, like a psh,
Okay, cool.
and
Is
then
it,
you see very cold metal stairs going
is it
down.
dark?
It's slightly illuminated. Like every so often there's a light on the wall.
Okay.
Like a very simple square light.
I will the lights to be slightly brighter because this is annoying.
Okay. They are bright.
All
You
right.
can see, but as you look down, there doesn't seem to be an end. It
Valerius
just
like
goes down.
he takes a sigh and he's like, nothing ventured, nothing gained, and starts walking down, pistol raised in front of him.
Can I ask you what the stairs how the stairs are like? Are they straight down with a landing or are they in a spiral, like a square spiral? Are they more
Straight
like
down only.
straight? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
No time to rest as you take a step down, going deeper and deeper and deeper. I want you to give me a very strong memory that Valerius would have held on to remind him to stay himself.
Does this have to be specifically from before part 2 or can it be like right now?
Uh, before, like who you trained yourself to be before you became a tool of war.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I think the strongest one would be either the Scion of Rikers or the leader of the Scouts. I'm gonna roll a D2 and see which one will be stronger.
Okay.
1 for Sign of Rikers, 2 for Scout. Okay, Sign of Rikers.
It's been years since you had that tattoo. As you go down the stairs, you smell it smells clean. You hear the soft tinkering, possibly your father, possibly your mentor. You don't know, but this definitely the office. You smell the smell of isopropyl alcohol being used to clean many things. You feel a sense of comfort wash over you as, yes, this is who you are. You have tasks to do for the betterment of the human race, of every humanoid sentient creature that lives in this country. You're doing a service.
Okay.
And then you hear
Valeria's
crying.
Oh, okay.
You hold inside of your palm a gem. It is a yellow topaz, very small, barely as big as your thumbnail, about 5 mm wide. It glistens under the light. The tinking sound of tinkering and tools exists now in the back of your mind. You don't see them. That sort of
Val-
disappears. Go ahead, yeah?
Oh. So the topaz is still on me, right?
Yeah,
it's in my
you're
hands.
holding on to it.
Okay, Valerius will press a button on his wrist pad. A small tray will pop up from, let's say, his chest area, revealing a small gem powering his armor. He's gonna remove the sapphire from his armor and put the topaz in its place, and reinsert the tray.
Okay. We cut back to Bosk.
Swimming around holding the chain.
Sorry, what? I heard potato chip.
Swimming around holding the chain.
The chain.
See
Yeah,
where it goes.
the chain
The
is still
potato chain.
pulling you. Potato, you're holding onto a potato chip. It's pulling you through. It's dark. Your eye, although it started off stung by whatever liquid is around you, you're getting used to it. But you have no purpose. The chain is pulling you. But you think the chain is...
It's leading?
You cannot yet see. It's still dark.
Can I reach into my pocket and then pull out an illuminating gem?
You reach into your pocket, you pull out the illuminating gem, and as it exits your pocket, about 7 copies of it also illuminate around you, sort of like a halo. It's very hard to see in this inky black. The light illuminates barely a foot around each point. As you realize what you've been swimming in, you're pretty sure it's goo.
So realizing that the substance is too thick and opaque, I will put away the gem and rely on my 10 feet of blind sight and sort of pull the chain, like climb along the chain forward to see what it's connected to, where it's going.
You pull on the
Or
chain
actually-
as you focus on the 10 feet of blind sight, and immediately you can feel more than 10 feet. You feel things extending through your usual what's that 1 minute thing that you have as a ranger?
Primeval awareness.
As though activating primeval awareness, you feel as though you're touching every point in this goo.
Can
But
I
because
tell
there's
how large the goo?
Oh, it's huge. Well, it extends to the end of your range, but you think it extends beyond that. But because there's so many things you're feeling, you're touching, are you trying to focus on anything in particular?
Well, the aim was to like crawl along the chain and to get to where it's leading me to faster, but realizing that I'm surrounded by the goo, I will attempt to integrate with the goo.
You become one with the goo.
Yes.
It doesn't take you long before you lose sense of the chain. You are the chain, you are the goo. And then you blink. You're now standing again on white space. Valerius is not there. The doors are not there. And there are multiple tunnels leading into the ground. They look vaguely like the holes Speaker would make to bury himself, to hide away. You're not sure what
Like a
just
whole bunch of
happened.
them, just like on the ground.
Yeah, just think of like foxholes surrounding you, so you have a choice. You can ignore it. They're big enough for you to climb in, by the way. But what was strange is when you thought that you wanted to become one with the goo, you just became you again.
Okay, but I'm here now rather than the ground, so that's something.
You're no longer stung by whatever that thing is. You can see, you can hear, you can speak.
I'm no longer. I don't have the feeling of being in the liquid anymore, right? Like
No.
everything's gone back to normal.
Feels
The
fresh.
doors are gone, and now they're just a bunch of holes everywhere.
Yeah. Actually, make me a wisdom save.
Don't see. Let's see.
21. That does make it. You feel the back of your mind, a memory tickles you as though reminding you that it exists. You just have to reach out and try.
I shall try to grasp the memory.
Tell me how you do this.
What is the thing that is sort of indicating to me that I should be remembering something?
The fact that you wanted to be one with the goo and then you just turned into yourself. The strong emotions of wanting to know what the memory is stronger than the relevance of the holes on the floor at the moment.
Okay. Do I know what triggered this memory?
You're unsure.
Well, I can just think back to the bitter taste of the goo, right? Like
Yes.
when I was swimming.
You
I
think-
haven't tasted like the ooze before. And I try to dig my memory for a time in which I would have tasted the goo, because so far whenever I've absorbed the oozes, it's always been like blue skin.
It was you're not sure how long. You look down on yourself. You're now sitting on a bench on a cafeteria chair. You see faceless people move around you. They're blurry. You cannot really identify who they are, and in front of you is a sandwich. You're chewing. You get overexcited and you get a part of the BLT that's your favorite. And you attempt to isolate it at the same time. You bite a little too hard on the side of your cheek, drawing blood. Bitter.
Let's try that. And
That's
I
strange.
haven't tasted my blood either since.
Biting the side of your cheek shouldn't seem bitter. You look down on
Can I-
your hand where there
Yeah,
seems
like
to be some
I-
kind of
I-
fresh injection site.
Like, can I put my hand into my mouth to like try to find the blood? It's like, oh, am I bleeding? Touch,
Yeah.
touch.
You feel
Yeah, I do
around
that.
at the side of your cheek. There is definitely like bite
It's not
marks.
the
It is now
taste that
swollen.
I'm tasting.
The bitter taste is there. It does ping. Like when you touch it, it is like spicy, like it's painful. Then you take your hand out. I mean, you take your finger out of your mouth and it is black. You rub it against your thumb and your forefinger, and it dilutes itself before disappearing back into your skin. Odd.
At this point, I kind of like look around and feel like, oh, this is not normal. Has my blood behaved this way, like normally, or is this weird?
Well, you haven't really injured yourself in a way where you can taste your own blood. You have been stabbed
Yes.
and injured in general.
Yeah, and I have like taken my own blood samples out to like,
Correct.
test.
You remember that, you know, it looks like very oxygenated red blood.
It
Make
should
me
be
another
black.
wisdom save.
Another wisdom save. Even more powerful.
Yeah, you're pretty sure the blood was red. But now you're wondering if you decided to think that your blood was red, because you are still human. You are still biased. And
Now I'm thinking like, yes, the blood is red or was red, but maybe because it was trying to like be human, right? Like a changeling, like that face guy from Chicken's gang.
you think so too. You think that. As you think that, we're gonna cut back to Valerius. You put the stone into that reticule to activate it, and as you step down another step, the hallway disappears, and you find yourself in some kind of meadow. You remember that this was one of the training grounds for you as a scout, but in front of you is you, but smaller, childlike, shirtless, no tattoo. Is Joe here or not?
I didn't realize I was muted. I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay, what were you saying?
I was saying, what is my character? What is the younger version of me doing?
He's looking at you with big brown eyes. He looks
Ah.
kind of scared and he goes, Hey, mister, I'm lost.
Valerius like holsters the pistol. And he's like, "Yeah, I can kind of see that. Where do you need to go?" He takes a knee so that. Wait, how young is this other Valerius right now? Do I need to take a knee to get to his eye level?
Probably. He looks maybe 5 or 6. You don't see a
fuck.
tattoo.
Okay, I take a knee.
I was swimming in that lake over there with my friends, but they disappeared. and they didn't tell me where they went. And I think they took my shirt.
Valerius kind of laughs like, feels like your friends are pulling a prank on you. Where'd you guys set up camp if you did?
I can't. I don't know. I don't know where I am. You remember a time when you weren't a scout. You didn't know how to make your way around things. You were surrounded by servants, um, friends. Make me make me an insight check.
Okay. Okay. Not too bad.
Okay. Um, you know this intrinsically. You're just trying to remember at what point this child is aware. You know that being a Riker is important. You know that children see you sometimes in a threatening way as well. And you remember this one conversation you heard while walking past your mom's office. And she was very brusquely telling one of the servants, I want your son to hang around with Rikers. Valerius needs friends. He's so alone. I need him to be normal at least a little bit. You see the child in front of you. Baby Val.
Mm.
Big brown eyes. Abandoned by his friends. Unknown location. This was probably the year you decided I shouldn't get lost again, but you don't remember seeing another person helping you. You remember this time as you got lost. You spent a whole night outside, and then the Riker Special Security Task Force, whatever, came looking for you.
Oh boy. Okay.
You were dirty, you were hungry. Never again.
Okay. Valerius crouches down. It's like, well, let's see if we can find where your friends went off to. And Valerius very clearly pulls out his Riker issued wheels from his back to appear out of thin air a Riker issued tablet.
The
Because I
child
broke the last one.
doesn't blink an eye at your technology.
Yep, not surprised. Okay, pulls out the tablet and he starts going through the motions of reconnecting to like the nearest network and trying to figure out where is the nearest signal of technology coming from.
You try to connect to networks, and it does ping. There is a ping. But you see like a very, not a physical, but you see like a very, very strong light come out of your tablet. 3 points of light, like laser pointers, project towards directions. And as you follow it, you see it attached to a child.
Ah, okay.
Each. There's 3. Slowly you watch as, and you can't seem to control this. It's as though it's muscle memories. You punch, you don't even remember what you're touching on the tablet, but slowly you see the child wordlessly, the children, sorry. The little you is still next to you watching this happen. The children seems to like become listless, pale, as though their soul is being sucked away, and slowly you watch them crumple. And at the end of the laser, you see gems.
At this point, I fling the tablet in front of me as hard as my -2 strength allows me to fling.
What are your emotions at this current point, and what is your intentions?
He remembers the point of which his father and his mother let him in on the project, the one that was supposed to prove he's willing to be a Rikers. How he got tricked into creating a vessel of which to contain human souls.
Make me a
If
wisdom
you
saving
s-
throw.
Okay. Ah, it's a 5
Oh,
finally.
5 is good. Okay. You remember the whole process. You weren't there watching the kids be demolished. In fact, you were sequestered away. You were told that this is proprietary. We don't know the exact technology yet. They will let you know eventually once it's cleared for your level of expertise. And then your mind is pulled to an office. You're standing in front of Erin, and she seems to be talking a lot excitedly. And then you see the same gem on the table. There's 5, 10 maybe. And then you see across from you a window, huge, huge windows. And through that window seems to be some kind of like workshop, storage room. And you see rows and rows of those creatures, those mechanical things, big ones.
Can I like pause real quick and can we pull back to the part where Valeria sees Aaron? Can you describe Aaron real quick?
She looks like Erin. What you remember? Her very pale skin. She looks slightly sickly, red eyes. For the first time in a long time, she's smiling, truly smiling, like eyes squinting, smiling. She's talking about progress. Every time she talks, she is walking around enthusiastically. She picks up various things, puts it on the bed, on the table with all the gems. You listen to her talk, and the gist of it is there is implementation of the gems, souls, depending on tenacity, power, and whether or not it can be mixed within a gem, can be used to power bigger and bigger constructs. She's excited. You're excited. But that's not what you became a Riker for. That's not what you remember Erin fighting for. She wanted to save children.
I try to force myself to look around the room and try to look past the mirage of Riker's technology to see if there's anything else supplemented in.
You don't have to force yourself. You look around the room to see, to search for deceit, to search for lies, to search for exploits, holes. Anything you want to see is there.
Ah, crap.
You don't need to be smart to understand that you make what you want to see. But there's also an element of your subconscious willfully putting itself in front of you if you allow it to.
I try to force it down and just see what raw footage, for lack of a better term, Valerius can see in front of him.
Because you failed your wisdom save, you hear murmurs of the conversation. You are giving input. You are making her understand where she went wrong, where the formula doesn't work, why the circuitry doesn't work in this particular area. You're saying, no, you shouldn't be using primordial runes here. This is ridiculous. It's not primordial. This is mechanical in nature, and therefore you need to use draconic. She's such a silly woman. She brushes you aside. She says, trust me, primordial is the best way to go about this. You snatch about 3 of those gems, and you grab her hand through the door into the area with all the constructs. And you let her know, if I put this in one of the constructs right now, it's going to explode. And she goes, yeah. We're working on it. We're working on it.
At this point, can I just grab one of the gems?
You have like 5 of them in your hand.
Okay. I draw my pistol
Okay.
and attempt to just shoot the glass directly behind Aaron.
This doesn't happen in your memory, so you're already breaking away. You shoot the glass. It shatters into various different pieces, and then time slowly moves to a crawl. The glass that shatters are now dancing in space. What
Valerius,
are you doing?
this is not what Valerius wanted. Memories be damned. He never wanted any of this. He tries his best. He runs, he dashes, he jumps, he falls towards the bay of where all the creatures, for lack of a better terms, are, and attempts to do what he said. If he puts one of the stones in, the thing will explode.
Okay, you don't have to dramatically run. You can methodically jog to each creature, insert a stone, jog to another creature, insert the stone, and there is a power button at the side of the wall that you can click to turn them all on in succession.
Okay.
One by one, they explode. We got back to Bosk.
Yep.
What was the last thing that you were thinking of with the whole blood thing? Like, yeah, are you trying to overwrite your own memories and understandings? Why is your taste bud black?
The question was, what was like, where were you?
Sorry?
She was thinking of maybe the blood, like maybe her blood is red because she's trying to pass off as human now. And
Mm.
so the body is like, yes, we are human blood is red. But actually, like, it can be any color if she tried.
That is a valid thing. You start thinking of the face guy.
Yeah.
Has this got something to do with changelings? Doppelgangers? You're still you. You know that
Maybe.
factually. What are you searching for?
This was just like a tangent that she was thinking of because she was like, she was stuck in the white space and she needed to find a memory, and here she is in a memory.
Okay.
Are her surroundings like familiar to me now? Do I know where I am?
You're still in.
In the cafeteria.
You were in the cafeteria, but now you find yourself in a lab again. You're lying in bed. The scars from the injections on your arm seem a lot more visible. They seem fresh. Make me a wisdom save.
This must have been when I first gave a test subject. The bot done.
23. Stop rolling
Really?
high. You see
It's okay.
the girl that was writing in the margins walk by, ask if you're okay. There is a syringe on the table to the right of you. You get up, you sit up.
I tell her how I'm feeling. Am I
She
feeling
pulls out.
normal?
You feel relatively normal. The
Normal
scars
stuff,
on your
blah,
arm,
blah, 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 blah.
the pokey holes do sting. She pulls out some swabs to clean them up for you. She puts a plaster on. Then she takes out a board. She passes it to you. You check your own vital signs. Apparently, you've been out for a few days. Breathing.
Is that good and normal and expected? I
Well,
haven't been eaten by the goop, so that's a good thing.
the fact is you woke up. You look at the
Yes.
chart. There was some scribbles of heart murmurs or some emergency went on. I'm not medically educated enough to tell you what is going on with the ECG, but it looks like
Myocardial infraction.
problems.
Did they have to do anything? Like,
They had to
Did
try
they
and
have to
resuscitate
restart my
you.
heart?
They had to shock you.
I don't know medical stuff, but yeah, they had to get you out of the pits for a while. You've shocked people before who were going into cardiac arrest from the goop, but so far
Oh,
they didn't wake up. So this is interesting. You make an involuntary You ask her for her pen and you put a circle around the time you were resuscitated. She now looks at you with like she's waiting for the next instruction.
I will ask her if there are like video recordings of that episode
She
or
nods.
and like the hours following that. And then
She nods. She goes,
and
"Yeah,
then
we
I
have
shall observe the footage.
we have all the recordings as you've instructed. They are in your office if you want to watch. At this moment, can you tell me what sounds Valerius and Bosk make? Like the kind of like general sounds. I know hum is one of Bosk's noises. For Valerius, is there screaming? Is there like stomping?
There's a lot of uh mm, as he tinkers with shit.
Okay.
Do you mean like in general or like now?
Like in general,
The
Bosk
ambient noises we make.
like
Oh,
idle noises.
We wallying. There's a lot of and also mechanical tinkering from Valerius' side, I suppose.
If Bosk is not wearing her mask, she will sometimes like yawn and forget that her mouth is open and visible for all to see.
Ah. Good luck.
Yes.
It's uncomfortable where you are. You're not sure where you are. Are you awake? Are you asleep? Are you dreaming? Are you not? You exist. You're pretty sure. You hear voices. You hear sounds of your friend. Ha. You hear a yawn. You hear stomping, tinkering. Then you hear a flurry of putting things in slots and then pressing a button. You hear sounds of people getting out of bed. You're not sure what's going on. The last thing you remember was blinking and being wrapped by vines, and then nothing. Who
I
are
will follow the noises.
you? Realize you can't move.
Oh, that's not nice. Can I look around and see what's holding me back?
Again, nothing. Like just it's as if all your senses was taken away except for your sense of hearing. You
Oh,
breathe
so I can't
in.
see anything either.
You breathe in and you smell nothing. It's like having COVID. It's the worst.
Ah.
No.
You can breathe. You feel bodily, you feel your lungs expand. You feel your sternum and your diaphragm move upwards and outwards. You inhale and exhale a few times while all of these things are happening. But it's as though your body and you are not one.
Right. I'm gonna just kind of try to breathe deeply and gather my thoughts. And I'll try to just kind of slowly and systematically, like try to feel my fingers and kind of tense the muscles and see if I can kind of like try to connect to myself.
Essentially doing the bride wiggle your big toe.
Yes, pretty much.
This is an attempt. You are met with like this very itchy feeling under your skin as though things are crawling and trying to get situated in your body, but at the same time you feel removed from that situation. Like you know it's yours. You know that it's going under your skin, but it's like a third person view, but you cannot see it happening. You just feel it.
She starts wondering if this is what it felt like when she couldn't actually control herself, when she was being puppeted, so to speak. Like if she was just kind of like a real version of her was just kind of sitting there observing in the background without being able to interfere.
Make me a
And it's
wisdom
a
saving throw.
little bit panic inducing. Alright. Wisdom saving throws. A good thing I'm not good at them. 14?
14?
That's not great.
It's not terrible. You think of
We
when
want to fail, right?
yes, you definitely want to fail,
Yes.
but is this fail enough?
Yeah.
It's something, it's not nothing. You think of whether or not this feeling is familiar. And you remember a time where you were screaming not even begging, like demanding that somebody let you go. Nobody is in the room aside from you and your two friends. 20, 14. Roll Canyon. Sometimes you wake up very lucid. Sometimes you wake up and everything's a blur. You feel so complacent. You're unsure why you're locked up. But if you're a good girl, maybe they'll let you go. There's no voice screaming at the back of your mind. There's no watching yourself do something that you don't want to do. If you're a good girl, they'll let you go. The days of you waking up with violence, retaliation, with a feeling of resistance in mind became few and far in between. All you wanted more and more was to just follow. It's nice not having to think. You've struggled so hard. The lows is so difficult to control. Maybe you should relax. Just follow some orders. So comfortable. You feel your brain physically shake away from this. This is not right. That's not you. But that was you.
It's kind of a sensation of being docile in a way that Gunlau can't really recognize in herself, even as she's kind of like feeling the feeling.
You know that
And
test
strange.
in the real world where they put a fake hand in front of you and then your real
Mm.
hand is behind a board, and people are brushing both hands, so you think it's your hand,
Yes.
and then they smash the fake hand, and you feel the
Yes.
pain.
Is it that feeling?
It's similar. Like, you know deeply that being agreeable to this, just following, is so wrong, so against your
Mm.
very nature. But at the same time, it's so comfortable. It's like putting on a pair of very, very comfortable socks.
Mm. And I suppose it's hard to keep just persisting day in and day out over time. She's just feeling worn down. She's trying to figure out, like, with this kind of idea of waking up, and with some of the recent memories she's recovered of actually waking after being fully put under, if she can kind of dig into more of those and like what triggered her being able to break free. Because that's what she wants to do. She's hoping that being able to kind of like figure out that sensation might help her pop back into her own body.
Hmm. Make me an insight check.
Okay.
22.
Oh.
Tell me what Gunlaug used to do to get her friends to snap her out of being completely enraged. Because she had anger issues.
She did. And it was usually surprise affection. Good luck is like a very emotionally driven person, so she is quick to anger. She's also used to be quick to laugh, and was immensely close to the people that was close to her emotionally and physically. Um, so just it was like a surefire way to like snap her out of it is to just big hug or a kiss or um like a little friendly wrestling on whatever you would do, just like something to catch her off guard and kind of like flick the switch because it's really hard to stay angry when no one is kind of like reacting appropriately.
Make me a d4 roll.
Okay. One.
You think of the most unreasonable person to make you laugh. You see in your mind's eye your body. What is your body doing? Because you're so far removed. You don't see this. You're envisioning something.
Hmm. I think she's pacing and ranting and kind of uh punching a table or a wall or a door with just absolute frustration and like impotent rage that needs to be let out in some sort of way.
You are violently attacking, throwing things in a very expensive looking room, and at the corner of your eye you see Snara. What's the most out of the ordinary thing he would do in response to this?
Um, uh, he might like tackle her and then tickle her. That would absolutely do that.
That's what he does in a very brotherly fashion. You
Mm.
are grabbing things because you're locked. There seemingly isn't a way out, and you see him crouch and do like a jogging start before line back tackling you into the ground, and then he's attacking your weakest squishiest point, and you're trying to stay mad and it doesn't work, and he whispers to you, "Look, I need you to run away. I need you to run away. I'll handle this." And then
I
he
think.
grabs you
Oh,
and he throws you out the window. You feel the pain, the shards go through your skin. You now find yourself on the floor. There's grass. It's at night. You don't know where you came from. There's just grass around you. You can finally see, you can smell. You look for the shards. It's not on you anymore, but you're alone.
is the grass still there?
Yep,
Can
it's
I
nice.
move now?
You get up. You're now looking into a seemingly endless horizon. Whatever window you flew out of, it's not there anymore.
That familiar, like, clench of shame and dread in her stomach is still there, but it's kind of fading now that she realizes that was a memory. And she's looking around, crouching down and kind of touching the grass, and it feels good that she can actually move and do that and feel the sensation on her hands. And she's trying to just kind of stay calm, because she isn't very good at that, and Snorri just snapped her out of whatever rage she was feeling previously. So just trying to like remain in that headspace of just
Make me a
trying to.
wisdom saving throw.
Okay. Roll porn. No.
You move your hands across the grass. You grab a clumpful. You pull. You scatter it into the air. And wind pulls it away from you. And we cut back to Joe. Things explode in glorious fashion. You feel it one by one go off, and it comes towards you in searing flame. You hurt. It burns. This is not your memory. You're willing it to burn, as though penance.
Yep. Valerius will willfully deactivate his armor shields and let himself get engulfed by the fire.
The mental image that I have for you is, you know that scene in The Terminator where people are again
Yes.
the chain link fence and they're turning
Mhm.
into ash?
Okay, got it.
That's what you're experiencing now before the searing, blinding light, the hot pain disappears. And then you find yourself in front of the same situation. You have put each and every gem inside the pockets, and your hand is just about to press the button again.
Valerius like kind of stops himself. He's like, "What?" Turns back around, verifies that everything has yet to be exploded. He's like,
Yeah, it
he
looks
takes
the
a closer
same.
look at the gems that. Okay, he goes back to the nearest automaton and he like takes out the gem. Is it the same one that I put in?
Seemingly so. They're all the same.
Okay, he closes the hatch and goes back to the switch. He's like, "What? No, no." He struggles with the reality for a moment before pressing the button again.
We go back to Bosk. You intrinsically felt somebody in pain. It was sort of like a mind link, and a part of you had almost forgotten why you were here. Ben?
Hello,
And
hello.
Yes, yes.
Where were we?
Okay, I can't remember, but you
I think our
double.
last thing was um look like looking through the recordings,
Yes.
or did we not go to the recordings?
You are in the midst of the recording, but that's when you felt
Okay.
like
Yeah.
a
So
very
I watched the shot
very
later.
mild. You think, okay, that pain that I felt temporary must have been just a shock from seeing the defib. You make me a perception check.
Reception check. All these skills that I got at. I clicked on it. I'm waiting.
I
for
am
the
also waiting.
Roll 20 is a little bit slow today. I had some issues pulling up my character sheet.
Yeah, no,
Okay, not just
Ida
me.
had a problem too.
Yeah.
21.
It was
Oh, let's go.
Very good. Although you failed the previous, well, you passed with flying colors the previous wisdom saving throw. At least your perception is high enough to catch strange ripples on your skin that seemed to take over just as you went into cardiac arrest and then be resuscitated. The ripples on the skin dies down as you stop convulsing. You watch the ECG go normal again, and
So this is before my heart stopped working,
this is during.
or
So
okay.
so what happened was skin rippling. You start convulsing. People have to come in and zap you.
Okay.
But the thing is, the ripples were so minute that you would not have caught it had you not rolled this high.
Okay.
And
So
then
I'm
you
okay,
continued sleeping.
Whatever that is, whatever that is, it probably was trying to fix stuff out. And then no strange observations after that. Like after the shock and after everything goes back to normal.
No, but make me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, relatively lower this time.
Oh, not bad.
I thought it would be a meme and be high again.
Oh, no, please.
Slightly disappointed.
Waste all your natural 20s on nothing. Like, ah, damn it. You are contrasting this to any memories of you doing testing on people, and this does trigger some vague memories. You remember being very cold and stoic looking into a room full of bodies. Half of them seem to have expired, the other half looks at you in fear. You're watching your team holding on to various implements and syringes filled with black liquid. It's not big syringes. It's like it's as big as the vaccination syringes. Very small. Very benign. Except for the fact that the goop inside is black.
Yes.
You have
Quite
your arms, one hand on your hip, and another one holding a clipboard, waiting. You feel yourself nod to each and every one of them as they don't stab the person on the bed being tied, restrained onto the bed posts as well. You watch them.
These test subjects clearly don't want to be here.
Oh, definitely, they do not want to be here. To the point where you can see where they're tied to their beds. There's visible strain marks, like they've been trying to pull themselves out. There's like purpling of the skin, bruises. Not of your
The
doing or your
stress
stuff.
factor.
Yeah. But of their own. Like, they really don't want to be here.
Yeah.
You watch as the black liquid is injected into the IV tube thingies, and it mixes with the saline solution and slowly gets pumped into the body. You think it's going to take 24 hours to see any significant change. You hear yourself order the orderlies to move the dead away from this lest they stink up the place. It must be sterile. It must remain sterile, and we cannot change too much.
Do I hear where they get told to dump the bodies?
You
Or is it just like,
you
"Oh, I'll
don't
deal with that"?
hear.
Or is
You
it like
know.
send them to
You
X
know
place?
factually that they have to go to the incinerator immediately
Okay.
because you don't
Because of
want accidents to
safety.
happen.
What a waste.
Okay, now I will ask the three of you directly. What are your goals? Like your immediate goal? What is the question that is most on your mind right now?
For Valeris is how do we stop the matriarch?
I will tell you for a fact that is not something you know, subconsciously or otherwise.
Yep. I know,
Otherwise,
but that
end of game.
yeah,
Okay.
but that is like the question he's most asking about.
Well, if I can comment out of character, Valeris
Yeah.
knows one main component of what she uses in the technology.
Mhm.
So that could be where you focus your efforts.
Yeah, I think Valerius is a smart guy. He's a systems guy, so he's not big picture. He's like, what is the minutia that he needs to zone into? So have a think about that. What about Gunlug?
So I think she would like to focus on and see if she could kind of like piece together how much of her interactions with the matriarch was real, like emotionally, and if it is reciprocated, like the affection that was instilled in her, if that was reciprocated to any real degree, if there is a chink in the armor that can be exploited potentially.
Okay, and for Bosk?
The question I had going in is very different from the question I have now. You mean to ask the question I have now, right?
I guess the most pertinent question since you've been in this dreamscape.
Okay. Going in, it was fairly blank slate. Like, oh, I wonder how much is locked away, whether it can still be accessed. And through this dreamscape, I think she believes that, okay, it can be accessed. And then having found out all this information, it's not so much a question, but she wants to learn, she wants to know more. Like, she's like, oh, this is what happened. I want to keep reading the book.
Proverbially opening the Pandora's box.
Yes.
I would say this is. It does not behoove your team for you to stay there, but stay there you do. You go through the information. Just to see how much, make me a wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom save, wisdom save. Damn.
Oh, even better. Okay. I need you to prepare me 3 things that you want me to tell you off screen. Because
What
let's just
sort
say
of
it works.
things?
Like you hyper focus.
All right. I will. find myself making wisdom.
For Gunlug.
Mhm.
You're looking for a chink in that armor. You're trying to think back to any interaction between you and the matriarch, between you and mother. So far, what you have at the tip of your fingers are good-ish memories, aside from what you've read. On paper, she is a good mother. She provides, she protects. But you remember videos of her being cold and unfeeling, looking at you. Always
And
from
a couple of
afar.
memories, I think, as well.
Very. If you don't follow her exact demands, if you're not the perfect daughter, that's when you see her facade change from loving to controlling. But it never ruffles her feathers long enough to be a detriment. She's always flipping fast enough to take you away from that fear. You think that you might need more time.
And she's expecting that as well. It's more about like figuring out or trying to find more memories and trying to kind of, as they unlock, scrutinize them and see if she can kind of, if, yeah, if any of the affection that she's putting on occasionally turns into something real, if there is something there that can be exploited, because obviously she's been instilling a lot of feelings into Gunlag that, as much as they've been faked, the feelings have been felt and they feel real to her, and she's hoping that there might be something there that's gone both ways in that process.
Make me a wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
17.
17?
The scene that you remember plays again and again, and you're trying to look for holes, but you don't find anything.
Hmm.
Valerius.
Yep.
First of all, I forgot what you were doing. Second of all,
I was in the process of being exploded, but then reset.
yes. I remember that much.
Did it again.
And then you didn't. No, you
Did it
didn't.
again?
You were looking at one of the stones, and then you're pertinently trying to find out what exactly you have to do to get information that will end up in defeating the matriarch. That is
Yeah,
not
I'd
like
like
a
to-
silver bullet.
I would like to revise that answer.
Uh-huh.
How could Valerius either, what's the proper word called? Okay, for lack of a better term, just take down the towers that is littering the area. Take down the field.
You don't have to search your memory banks to know that the answer is to work together with people. And then a funny thing happens. It's as though your need to find the answer to such a simple question, but that even the answer is like, well, duh. You find yourself in a field that expands forever. And far away in that field, you see another person. You're not sure. You can't make heads or tails. You cannot see them. You just know it's people shaped.
Spyglass.
You pull out a spyglass and you look into it. As though comically, you zoom in Gunlag,
Mm.
you were in your reverie thinking of like what matriarch, like when did she break her facade? When you look out into the distance and you catch yourself because Valerius seems to be blinking closer and closer to you. He seems to be twisting some kind of spyglass, and as he twists, he becomes closer until he is right in front of you. Valerius, through the spyglass, she is in front of your face.
Valerius is like, huh, that's Gunlock. Lowers the spyglass
Uh,
and oh,
She's there.
oh. He's like, how you were like points backwards? You were like what, miles. What the? No. Okay, hold
I
up.
don't think this place is real.
Are
I
you
think that's
real
how.
though? Am I real? He like presses on like Gunlock's
Gulak
shoulders, like
immediately looks a little bit horrified at the question of existential just everything.
he's like, oh no.
As both of you are having an existential crisis, Busk, you're peering through journals and records. You're listening to your own voice speak, but half of it seems gibberish. You understand most of it. You know they are words, but they don't seem like words that should go together. Decoding this would take a long time, and you're not entirely sure. Make me an intelligence saving throw.
City.
18. You're falling into a reverie. You're going in circles. You keep going back to the same recordings, and you realize that after a while, they're just memories. These are your subconscious memories that you cannot, no matter what, out of character until you roll low enough. Even more so,
Yep.
aside from the 3 questions that I asked you to prepare off screen, there's not much you can glean out of this mess.
Mhm. I think to myself, okay, I guess this is the limitation of the dream. I stand up and look around, and I think in my head, like outward, Primpata, how are the others?
You search through your mind, and this connects through the other 3 as well. You don't hear each other, but all of you hear Primpata's voice going, you still have a lot of time. I can keep you here if you want. I feel there's still some unresolved stuff. 2 of you have found each other. Dr. Busk, you're still alone.
Yes, I'm aware. I say as I look around.
I don't know how to
and
get you
then
back.
Is there a door?
There is now. What's the door look like?
Okay. I see the door. It's not so much a door as like a doorway that's obscured by a curtain of mushroom beads.
It's literally beads in the shape of mushrooms. They dangle
Yes,
down.
made of mushroom.
You hear wind blow past like a fan, and you hear the
Let's
beads
see if I can get back
crackle.
to the others.
You step through, and immediately the 3 of you find face to face with each other. And just as immediately the scene changes, you see all 3 of you see Etienne sitting on a comfortable chair with a newspaper and a cup of coffee, and he's looking at you and he's going, well, aren't you going to go get the suitcase? And we cut back to Kang. You follow the kids to Kang. Are you there? Because I know he's falling asleep. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I'm here.
Throw
Okay,
it
okay.
back.
You good? You good? Okay. Lucky last, unfortunately, and I apologize. You find yourself in just a simple mushroomy room. It is brightly lit, but there seems to be some kind of bloom because it's just spores everywhere. You go in, if you had hay fever, you would be dead right now. You walk in and immediately you are inundated with voices. You're unsure about this, and then you watch as your underlings also become confused, and then Greenlock goes, it fine. Breathe in, out, hurt a bit, and then sleep. Sleep, wake up tomorrow. Good. Yes. And they in confusion goes, oh, all right. And you see Whisper crouch down and just lie down on what is the closest looking thing to a pillow looks like. And she's like, sleep, right? And then she takes a deep breath in. And then we black out. And that is where we're going to end for today.
Okay.
Next week, we will pick it up with Kang because some shenanigans is going to happen.
Thank you so much, Tia.
Thanks for hosting.
Thanks for playing, everybody. Thanks for listening. We will see you next week. I do want to resolve some stuff in the background so we can move on. For example, Speaker will have some stuff. And then there'll be a short interlude, maybe 20 minutes of Bosk, Valerius, and Gunlog running around in French.
It'll be like,
And
oh, good luck, you're here.
oui, baguette. Adieu, bonne nuit, and bye. See you next week. Bye.
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 Bye.